Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Boxing Podcast with your host, Josh Size. I'm going to jump right into this episode. The Paul brothers. Everyone seems to keep talking about them. You already know Jake Paul knocked out Ben Askren in a shocker for most, but not really for this channel and me. However, the other Paul brother, Logan, was supposed to fight Mayweather. This fight was supposed to take place earlier in the year, and evidently, due to the fact that not a lot of people were really interested in the fight didn't take place. However, like the geniuses that these kids are in terms of marketing, you got to give them that credit. They're viral marketing geniuses because, quite frankly, everyone's so mad at Jake Paul, it's ridiculous. He's a YouTuber and he just has everyone talking about him. So why would not the brother of Jake Paul, Logan, who apparently they have beef with one another? I don't know if it's contrived or what, but smartly, they decided to kind of use the momentum of the Triller event, piggybacking off the Jake Paul event, and also the event of Teofimo Lopez and George Kombosos. And they made their announcement. Mayweather versus Logan Paul is going to take place on June 6th. So now, like an avalanche of just basically momentum, you have Jake Paul, who just recently disposed of Ben Askren. Everyone's talking about that fight. Jake Paul decides to go to the MMA UFC pay-per-view card this weekend where what a knockout by Kamaru Usman. He put Jorge Masvidal to sleep, but you saw Daniel Cormier talking trash to Jake Paul. You saw all the fans booing Jake Paul. The whole MMA/boxing world is just very upset at Jake Paul. And it's genius. The Paul brothers' names are all over the place. Everyone is talking about the Paul brothers. And then Mayweather, you add Mayweather in the mix, arguably um, one of the best pure boxers ever to really do it. I know people hate him, but you can't deny the fact that the guy can box well. He may not be your forte, but the guy wins, right? Regardless of how you feel. June 6th, he's going to be in action against Logan Paul. Now, to me personally, this fight, I don't really know what to expect from it. And when I first heard about it, I was very, very up in arms. I hated it. And I thought YouTube boxers were ruining boxing. However, I'm not too mad at Jake Paul's fight because he's a rookie. He's basically has a platform. And instead of doing the traditional promoters route where you're a boxer, you have an amateur career, you fight a bunch of tin cans or people that really aren't supposed to give you a challenge in order to develop, you pad that record, and then you slowly but surely get your name out there. It's kind of reverse for Jake Paul. He's a well-known YouTuber, has a tremendously big platform. A lot of people want to see him lose. Some people hate him, some people love him, but he has a platform. So he's propped up. He's making way more money than a lot of other boxers who are way better than him because he's not the best boxer in the world, but those boxers don't have the platform Jake Paul has. Now, mix that in with Logan Paul, who also has his own platform. He was the more beloved of the Paul brothers until that whole incident where there was a suicide forest. He made that video, and a lot of people got turned off by him, right? But Logan Paul's still around, has a tremendously big platform. You mix that in with Floyd Mayweather, people are going to tune in to see it. You're riding not the coattails of Jake Paul because Logan has his own following and has been boxing. And arguably, I think Logan's probably the better technical boxer than Jake. That's my opinion. I haven't seen Logan box since he lost that controversial split decision. However, I don't see why the Floyd Mayweather fight needs to happen. I mean, you have someone who's clearly, arguably, way, way in a different stratosphere than Logan Paul. And I know they're going to say the size difference. I know they're going to say this. I know they're going to say that if he gets caught. Look, Mayweather isn't going to lose to Logan Paul. You guys got to stop. It's not an exciting fight. It's not a competitive fight. But in terms of timing, in terms of interest, I think this fight's going to actually do pretty well, given the fact that Jake Paul just recently did phenomenal numbers pay-per-view wise. And now Ben Askren is not a pay-per-view star at all. Jake Paul sure has a following, But you mix Logan Paul in with the following of Floyd Mayweather and the fact that the mainstream knows Floyd Mayweather. And a lot of people, while upset at Triller and upset at what they're doing, this fight's going to sell well. And I know people are going to be mad at it. And I'm kind of mad at it because the fight doesn't make sense. It's a one sided mismatch. And I don't care. This guy could come in at 220. Floyd Mayweather's going to beat him. Look, he's not going to knock Floyd out. You guys have to stop. But it's a fight that, again, is going to change boxing. Saturday, you have Teofimo Lopez versus George Kombosos on Triller, right? The buzz from that fight is going to carry on into the next day and a good fight weekend. We have tremendous fights coming up. And look, it's an exhibition fight. It's not a real fight. It's not something that counts, wins or loss like Jake Paul did. So that's why I kind of didn't have a problem with it. This exhibition fight is an exhibition. It's a freak show and it's made to be a sideshow. So you mix that in with Triller, who's going to obviously have an event that's very similar to the last one. And it's going to be a very unique weekend for boxing. And I have no problem with that. I want these fighters to get paid. If Floyd needs another payday, all right. Logan Paul, I think you can be a talented boxer when you come back. If you decide to come back, because I don't know if he wants to really box, because he maybe should have taken a pro fight and followed Jake Paul's route on that. So I don't know what's going on with that. But this fight, they're both going to make tremendous sums of money. And I'm happy for Logan, honestly. And I'm happy for Floyd for being able to utilize your name and your legacy to come back. At first, I didn't want to see the fight. It's bad for boxing, but guess what? Just because it's bad for boxing, I mean, in terms of popularity and getting name out there, getting interest out there to the casual and just kind of revving up and utilizing the viral marketing strategy that his brother used, I don't know what to say about it, but I'm just done fighting it and done complaining about it because people are paying to see it, and it may not be my forte, but doesn't matter. I mean, I could be a boxing purist. I could love the sport in any way. I like boxing matches. I like chess matches. Chess matches. Certain people like brawls. Brawls for me sometimes, especially like the Christopher Diaz and Emmanuel Navarrete. I didn't think it was really that interesting of a fight. I thought it was a one-sided beatdown, and I just like better high speed, high thinking, high level chess matches from time to time. I'm not knocking it. I did like the Chocolatito and Estrada fight. That was a high level brawl, in my opinion. You saw really, really good technique. It wasn't rock'em sock'em robots. So I don't know how I feel about that. But moving on, just to kind of talk about Logan Paul and Jake Paul again. Jake Paul's talking about Tommy Fury. Everyone keeps talking about Tommy Fury wanting to fight Jake Paul. And oh, it's a perfect fight for Jake Paul. No, it's not. Jake Paul has way more to lose in that fight than Tommy Fury has to lose. I know people are saying, "Oh, but he's a real boxer. If he loses to Jake Paul, he'll never recover." No. That's not the way this works. Jake Paul's a way bigger star than Tommy Fury, and quite frankly, Tommy Fury's record, yes, he doesn't have the same record as Jake Paul. He has more fights. He's been in boxing longer, and you know what? I would arguably say that Tommy Fury probably would beat Jake Paul. And if he loses to Tommy Fury, what does he gain from that? He doesn't make the millions of dollars he clearly can make fighting someone else. And Tommy Fury, yeah, you were on Love Island, but you're not. You don't have the platform that Jake Paul has, and you guys got to stop. Let the kid develop. Clearly, he's moving in a certain way where he's fighting people that are novices in boxing, but he's also a novice, and you have to keep that in mind. He's trying to generate as much hate and interest in his fights as possible. It's why he showed up and trolled the MMA fights. He wants people to pay to see him lose, but he also has fan bases that will defend him to the end. Personally, I have no stake in Jake Paul. I don't personally hate the guy. I don't really like the guy. I am kind of indifferent. But when you look at what he's doing for boxing and what he's exposing about MMA, I'm surprised more people aren't happy that he's showing that there is another way to promote your career. If you have talent, develop the platform, get the people behind you. Maybe be on YouTube like Ryan Garcia. Maybe be more like him in order to market yourself, because the kid's really good at marketing himself. He's a young kid. He talks trash. He's cocky. He's brash. You may not like him. He maybe not be your forte, but the kid clearly is doing something. He's making millions of dollars to fight in only his third or fourth fight. So boxers need to take notice. Hey, make content, promote yourself. I'm not saying you have to beat Jake Paul, but maybe you need to start taking your own promotion into consideration and start owning your career. These kids clearly own their career. They made a lot of money on YouTube, so they can move however they want. They don't have to listen to a promoter. They don't have to sit here and be a slave to whatever Bob Arum or Eddie Hearn or whoever wants you to fight, whoever, where you end up like Demetrius Andrade saying, hey, no one wants to fight me. Yet, if you promoted yourself and you are your own promoter, you wouldn't need to take the deal from DAZN and then take whoever wants. You can literally go to any promoter you want, say, hey, I'm fighting your guy, and then you could basically guarantee you would make not only more money, your popularity would be way more. And you don't have to deal with, oh, the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence conundrum where I'm on this side of the street. Oh, I'm on that side of the street. I don't think we can meet. Oh, they don't want to pay me X, so I don't want to fight. And we'll get the fights we want. Take a bet on yourself. It's way more risky. Look what Teofimo did with Triller in the purse bid. They thought it was crazy because they didn't think anyone would outbid Top Rank or Matchroom. So look, the two kids are disrupting boxing with their names, and they're showing that if you have a platform in the social media era, viral marketing works. Sell yourself, control your career, and start to get paid. You guys don't realize how much promoters are making off of you. And that's only the headliners. Imagine the undercard people who are getting extremely shortchanged. Yes, I know they do put a lot of money up front. They put a lot of money to invest in you, promote you, etc. But this Jake Paul, Logan Paul saga, mix in the exhibition era where you have all these people coming back. It's just a new game. So that's the episode for today. Follow if you're not following the channel. It really, really helps. Like the video, hate the video, comment on the video. And if you're on Instagram, feel free to follow us at Good Boxing Podcast. Thank you and have a great day.